and welcome to Obidient Family TV. The program is Hope Alive. Yes, there is hope, and the new Nigeria has vowed to appeal this very judgment affirming Julius Abure as the national chairman of our Labour Party, and is to that very court judgment affirming Julius Abure as a national chairman. That is the major talk that I want to bring to Obedience today, because I've seen it in different platforms. Some people say the court order from Benin, some say in different areas. But His Excellency P2B has actually spoken about this, and we're going to be bringing that in a moment. And again, Nigerians has remained docile as the fuel increase is going up and up from 800 and something naira to 1,000 to 1,200, and just going up and up. And between Dangote and the NNPC, none of them has been able to tell Nigerians how far and how well are we headed. But Nigerians continue to remain docile as far as the fuel pricing is concerned, and continue to suffer each day. We'll be talking about that also. And of course, we will also bring to you a review of GovSpend portal, which has revealed that a total of 19.4 million naira was paid into Tinubu's account in about. And we will not forget the issue of Rivers State. As you know, Rivers State governor has now championed the cause of security in his state, avoiding the state. He has met with the what do they call it, civil defense, that the civil defense will now provide security, and he has given them new brand Hilux vehicles. Let's hope that these vehicles remain in Rivers State to protect the Rivers State people. And with me to have discussions now, we have active citizens who are joining us via Zoom. We have Mr. Basi, and of course we have Mr. Tony and Mr. Christian from different states in Nigeria who are ardent Obidients, who wish always to express their opinion on the matters at hand. Let's start with PO. So, as you know, His Excellency P2B has sent out his own talk to Obedients and active citizens, and he said that him and Governor Chairman and Secretary of the Labour Party, he said that they convened to discuss and review the recent development, including the judgment delivered by the Abuja High Court on the same day. And what he said is that he urged all members of the Labour Party to remain calm and patient as they continue to engage in discussions and consultations. He said our goal is to emerge as a stronger and more unified, standing together as one united front. He said we must not allow this to divert us from addressing the pressing issues affecting our people today. We have always known that the task of creating a new Nigeria that is possible will not come without challenges. This is coming from with PO. And of course, we have several reactions from active citizens and Obedience. But let's start with the people in the house because of the network issues. Clearly, there is this, several people have come. So let's stay off that and just look at them. Mr. Basi, let me hear your take and your reaction on how PO has reiterated obedience and well-meaning Nigerians to be calm, including the members of Labour Party to be calm. What's your take on this very court order? And of course, we have another news coming up that there is going to be an appeal going on. I don't want us to join issues with the appeal, but of course you can state your concerns and of course your opinion on this very briefly.
Very briefly.
Good evening, Mr. Kanu. Thanks for having me, the Obidient and listeners across the world. The issue in Labour Party has become a recurring decimal. One moment you think the crisis is resolved, the next moment you will see it will just pop up from nowhere. It's just a case of cat and mouse. one other person will be trying to play a card, a script that has been handed over to them. But what is surprising is that I just don't understand why we have failed to understand that all of this issue that are going on in LP is being orchestrated to destabilize the party. So, and it's really not going down well, because rather than us focusing on building a formidable opposition party that will give the ruling the necessary opposition, but they are being distracted by some of this court litigation. And it's also instructive to note that the judges that are handing down some of this order are the ones. Are these the only judges that are in the federal high court in Abuja, FCT? Are they the only ones that are competent to handle these cases? It clearly shows that something is amiss, and people need to pay attention to some of these things and understand that it's a script that are being acted and that are being implemented. So I would rather at this point call on all Obidient, wherever we are, to focus our energy in building Obidient structure, rather than allow Labour Party to distract us and they so that at a point when this thing is when the atmosphere is ready, we will not be caught wanting, we will not be caught napping, because as it stands, the game plan is to ensure that as long as Labour Party is being distracted, it will not give them opportunity to properly organize themselves, and they stay focused. PO's call is also very okay by me, but I would rather want Obidient to focus their energy in building Obidient structure and from the grassroots, rather than spending more time on the social media. We tend to do a lot of talk on the social media and less action at the grassroots. Thank you.
A reaction I want you to actually look at, that very reaction is somebody who said that the same man that is using Wike against PDP is using Abure against Labour Party. And he said, we will battle it up to Supreme Court, no treat, no surrender. Do you really think that Tinubu is behind all what is happening in Labour Party of today? All what is happening in Labour Party of today?
Well, if you are let me say, a political scientist or someone see the undertone behind all of this, like are similar between Rivers and Labour Party. Why are we having a similar judges? Why are they the same judges that are they the only judges that are competent in handling political cases. Obviously, something is wrong somewhere. Somebody is playing a part somewhere.
Yeah, and I was also looking at it from the perspective of what is happening in Labour Party is not really anything.
In the PDP of today, is that not correct?
It's similar, yes, the same. So it's high time the Obidient movement don't allow Labour Party issues to weigh us down. Structure at this point in time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Usman, the chairperson of the Caretaker Committee, reaction to that very particular court order from Abure. And of course, she sent out a tweet on her X handle, and let's see how the reaction that she also brought to the book. So this is Nenadi Usman, and she said, this evening I met with His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi and His Excellency Governor Alex Oti and Senator Darlington Wokocha, Secretary LP Caretaker Committee. Now, she said, we deliberated on the judgment passed today. The case actually preceded the formation of the Caretaker Committee. However, after being briefed, the Caretaker Committee decided to join the case. Consequently, we have resolved to appeal the judgment accordingly. I think this is not coming from PO's tweet, but this is Nenadi Usman's tweet, Mr. Bassi. I don't know if you reacted to this. She also said that, I therefore call on all party members to remain calm and maintain peace as we continue our reconciliation efforts. Mr. Bassi, please, a quick one, just 1 minute. If they said consequently they have resolved to appeal the judgment, does that look like something of peace and a continuation of reconciliation effort?
Well, this is what I said. You see, as long as we keep pursuing reconciliation, setting aside court order, these are distractions that is not going to allow these people to focus. Remember, the Caretaker Committee had 90 days to restructure the party and ensure that there is congresses from the ward level to the local government to state level and then to the national level. But with all of these intrigues going on, there seems not to be focus on that. And you see that they are rather putting their energy, focusing their energy and their leadership issue, trying to reconcile the warring faction. This is not good enough for the Labour Party as a whole. Yes, they can go ahead to challenge those order, at least to ensure that they set it aside, because as long as that is also not set aside, they won't be able to progress in whatever they are doing. Don't forget that by that court order, the NWC led by Abure has been legitimized by that singular court order. So that has to be set aside. At least by filing a petition, they can as equally file a stay of execution. That means things should remain at as it were before the judgment of the Federal High Court. That's what it is. But all in all, only God knows how long they are going to be in, because if you are going to meet these people who are trying to create a stumbling block for you from progressing, how do you think there is going to be an accelerated hearing in the case? Of course, that case is going to suffer some kind of it will not see the light of the day. Even if it's going to take a longer period for them to be able to bring closure to this leadership tussle. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. And let's
PO in conjunction at this very particular deliberation that they had. Let's take a listen.
So the Labour Party crisis is still ongoing. And yesterday, the Caretaker Committee that was inaugurated some months ago had a meeting with Dr. Alex Choma Oti and Peter Obi. They had a meeting to appeal Abure's court case, which he took them to court, and he won. So they had to sit another meeting to appeal that particular issue in court, and I guess there was progress, a lot of progress. Before we get into that particular story properly, I would like us to watch the short clip from the Caretaker Committee chairman. She gave a speech alongside Alex Oti and Peter Obi.
Had a meeting, and during the meeting we took note of the judgment of today, and I must say at this point that this case preceded the Caretaker Committee. It has started much earlier, but having heard the judgment of today, we have taken the decision to appeal accordingly. Therefore, I want to call on all Labour Party members, our brothers and sisters, to please remain calm. We will continue with reconciliation, and at the end of the day,
Nenadi Usman urging Obedience and Nigerians, and of course Labour Party members, to stay calm while they address the issues. So of course those things are understood, and I believe Basi is also on point in what he said about resolving, going on appeal and trying to get these things done. And of course I realize that many Obedients also are very apprehensive about this, asking so much questions about this. But I can say we can, as Obedients, move on to what we are doing, which is building the structure of the Obidient movement, and allow the orgas at the top to actually deal with these very issues, because they have the financial will and they have the law behind them to go ahead with it. And let us not forget the fact that His Excellency Peter Obi have options, which he has said in different meetings that we did have with him, that there are options. So if Labour Party is no longer the vehicle, is for him to decide for us to go. But what he has said is that we should remain calm. Let me quickly get to Mr. Tony. Mr. Tony, let's get your opinion and your own contribution on this. Of course, the reactions are just everywhere, but let's keep it very short, as network is very, very not being friendly.
Thank you for having me, and thank you, listeners, wherever you are. My take on this is simple. We cannot, the Obidients family cannot wait. I think Yanusu, Dr. Tanko, organizing, forming the structures for the Obidient family. There's no time to waste, because this judgment, my understanding is that it was a case in court before the Umahia conference. So they're now using it as a conclusion that Abure has been reinstated as the Labour Party chairman. But remember, during the first meeting they had with heads of the chairman of political parties, Abure was not invited, but he showed up and he was thrown out of that meeting. The second meeting, he wasn't even invited at all, and he didn't show up. So I think this lawsuit might have emanated from his dispute with INEC, and not what happened in Umahia. So for them to join the lawsuit, I don't think it makes a whole lot of sense, because what they did was lawful. INEC has refused to recognize Abure, and what the judgment is saying is INEC should recognize Abure. So I think they should proceed and go ahead and organize the congresses without wasting any time. They can leave the litigation to their lawyers and then focus on the task ahead. And Labour Party, what is Labour Party without? These people are really not obedient. These party people, they're not really obedient. So they are using us, the Obidient family, to enhance their careers. And that's why you see them fighting tooth and nail to hang on to power. They were not elected. And I've read in some articles where some of these unelected Labour Party officials, like the state party chairman and the world party chairman, are hailing the judgment. You know, because I think some of them are aware that if there is a Congress, they may lose. They may not retain the position they have now. And so that's why they're also supporting Abure, trying to hang on to power. So I honestly believe that the Obidient family should accelerate. They should put it in gear 4 to try to establish Obidient strong throughout. We should see, we have to see a result, and stop talking a lot of talk. This is my opinion on that, because what to destabilize the party. People who were disappointed in what happened there last year are just hanging. There is, if you don't do this thing fast, you may not get as much enthusiasm as you had last year. So people are human beings, they're not machines, and they can get frustrated with all these Labour Party officials trying to hang on to power, who are not really obedient. Remove obedience from Labour Party, you get nothing. You get the old situation before 2023 election, where Labour Party was just appointed individuals waiting for somebody who wants to run for office, can just come in and they collect the money and put it in their pockets. They're not using it to grow Labour Party. They will just put it in their pockets. And they see an opportunity right now, and that's why they are clinging to power. And it's not good for PO. It's not good for PO. Let him decide exactly where he wants to go, because without a good structure, you cannot even negotiate with PDP or NNPP. To form a coalition.
jump to get the opinion of Mr. Christian Oche before it gets bad. Mr. Christian, my question to you right now is, do you think that moving into this very appeal, like Nenadi Osman has said that they are going to appeal this very court order, do you think it's a waste of time appealing these judgments? Because as you know, Tony mentioned the issue of the Obidient movement being the backbone of His Excellency P2B, and without the Obidient movement, the Labour Party will go nowhere in whichever aspect they want to go. So don't you think that putting up the energy of appeal and the funds that will go into this very appeal to get a platform that we, the Obidients, are going to use, don't you think it is a waste of time, or you think it's something that is worth to explore while Tanko, being the interim national leader of the movement, continue to put the structures on? What are your opinions?
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Kanu. Good evening, viewers all over the world, wherever you are listening from. The decision of the Caretaker Committee, ably led by Senator Nenadi Osman, is a welcome development. They can go ahead with the legal tussle. The movement already have a direction of where we are going to. And wherever PO goes, there will go. It's all distraction from the opposition party, the ruling party rather. They are trying a way to distract the Labour Party, the same way they are using Wiki to distract the PDP. They also using Julius Abure to distract the Labour Party from having